Do you like educational games that allow you to learn by playing? Are you a fan of the legendary science fiction novel The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy? And do you think that you are good at math and would you like to test your skills? VideoGaming Father is here with a video review of minimalist puzzle game based on math called The Answer is 42. Is there any catching science fiction story explaining the game's background? Is it just pure counting, or will you test some of your other skills too? Is the game interesting enough to keep your children's attention? Isn't it too difficult to discourage people that don't have a calculator in their head from playing? Are the game controls precise enough? Does the game have attractive yet not disturbing audiovisuals? And is there any tool in the game allowing you to compare your results with other players? Just stay with me for the next few minutes to find the answers for all these questions. Let's start with the story. If you have ever heard of Douglas Adams' legendary novel called The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, you know what is it all about. If not, just know that it is one of the best-known phrases from this novel given by fictional supercomputer Deep Thought when it was given a question about the meaning of life. 42 is the answer to the ultimate question on life, the universe and everything. Nobody knows why this exact number, and the fans are still coming up with various theories why it is so. Douglas Adams himself explained once that it was just the number that came to his mind when he was sitting behind his desk and stared into the garden. And this is actually all the info that you will get about the game's background. The truth is that it gives you the space for your own interpretation, but authors could put a bit more effort into it and could come up with their own theory to spice up the game with something that could be discussed in the forums. Like this, it is just reproducing something that was thought up a long time ago. Okay, let's leave the story and have a look at the gameplay. The main idea that the game is based on is very simple. You have two or more tiles with numbers in them, and you need to connect all of them in a way that the result of their addition or subtraction is 42. The first levels are very simple and serve as an introduction to the game. The solution is clear on the first sight and you can virtually make no mistake. I mean, if the math classes in the school were in your worst nightmare. But you would hardly be playing this game in such a case, correct? There are one or more colorful pieces with starting numbers that you all need to connect with the other tiles to get the number 42. Tiles are connected by the lines and are organized into geometric shapes. Typically, the squares with diagonals and 4 number tiles in their corners make the blocks that the resulting bigger squares or rectangles are built from. Sometimes the resulting figure is not a square or rectangle shape, which is usually achieved by slanting some corners or removing some edges, but it is rather rare. There is one or more colored tiles with the starting number and you need to find a way to connect it with the other number tiles while respecting these rules. First one, each line can be used only once. The second, each numbered square has to be used at least once. Third one, each result has to be 42. This sounds pretty simple, doesn't it? So what actually prevents you from whizzing through the game within a few minutes? As I have already mentioned, the solutions of the first few levels are really obvious and there is not much that can stop you from resolving the task on the first attempt. The game has 100 levels and it is normal to reach level 20 within less than 10 minutes. But don't you worry, the whole game is not that easy. As you proceed further, the figures become more complex with many tiles and also many starting tiles that you need to find the right path from to get to the correct resulting number, 42 obviously, every time. The thing is that sometimes you seemingly find the right path for most of the starting tiles, but you are not able to connect the last starting tile with the others to get to the requested result because all the lines leading to the tiles with the right numbers have been used. Or you have all starting tiles connected and have the correct results, but there are one or more tiles unused. In such a case, you need to start over. And suddenly, you find out that there are many possible ways leading to number 42, but only one combination of them is right. So there are all starting tiles connected with the right numbers and all number tiles are used. You usually work with positive numbers, only some levels use the negative ones too. By playing the game you are training not just your math skills, but also your logical thinking, as you need to think ahead to identify which paths you can use not to make the other starting numbers being isolated or not to miss some number tiles. This actually reminded me of the task from the school subject called Theory of Grabs. Is there something else making the game more complex? The answer here is not 42, haha, but not really. There are no other mathematical operations like multiplication or dividing, no decimal numbers, or some other mechanics that would make the game more complex. Also, I have found the game difficulty a bit unbalanced. For example, you can spend more than 10 minutes solving one puzzle and then being able to solve the next 5 or even more within another 10 minutes. And I don't think it's just caused by my inability to think fast, because the following levels are objectively less complex. But as the authors say, don't panic, you have all the time you need to solve the puzzles with no pressure. Which might be the plus, but also the minus, as there is no tool like an online leaderboard where one could compare his results with other players. There are simply no metrics like the time needed for the resolution, number of steps needed, or something like this. It is okay for the players who are looking for relaxing gameplay, but not for the players that are looking for any real challenge. Except for solving puzzles, of course. I think that it could be resolved by adding more game modes to the game. The game controls are quite okay, you just need the mouse to connect the tiles. However, it seems a bit inaccurate to me, as it happened to me many times that I connected different tiles that I intended to, and I don't think that is just because of my clunky fingers. It's not a big deal here, as there is just no pressure, but still the controls could be a bit accurate. How about the game audiovisuals? There is actually not much to show in the game based on connecting tiles with numbers. The game graphics are therefore as minimalist as the game itself, but it has pluses as the game can be run on almost anything and one is not disturbed by any useless graphical effects. You can just see the grid with the puzzle, decent twinkling stars on the black background and moving neon lights at the bottom part of the screen. This with very relaxing game music and also sounds creates the ideal atmosphere for thinking while being focused on relaxed. So there is nothing I could complain about here. And slowly but surely we are getting to the final verdict. Is the answer is 42 ideal game for people who like to solve puzzles but are not stressed by any time limits or some other limitations? Let's start with the positive sides of the game. Instant gameplay, easy to learn, relaxing game atmosphere, some levels can be challenging, reasonable difficulty, and well-chosen audio-visuals for such type of the game. And here are the downsides. Absence of any story, too simplistic concept without anything new to discover, unbalanced difficulty, some later levels might be much easier than the previous ones, sometimes clunky controls, absence of the game mode that would add up some challenge to the game, and creeping stereotype as you virtually do the same task over and over again. The game costs just €1 on Steam, which is an undisputable plus for the game and is worth trying for such a price. The game is suitable for kids who can practice math and logical thinking while playing. I'm just afraid that they won't hold their attention for a long time, as the game will become repetitive for them after a few levels. Maybe the presence of local multiplayer where two players could compete to solve the puzzle first would help the game to be more entertaining. And also adding some new ideas, like more mathematical operations or some kind of challenges would prevent the game from early stereotypes. Thanks to its low price, relaxing game atmosphere, and solid design of puzzles, I can still recommend the game for casual players and their families, and thus I'm giving the game thumbs up and VideoGaming Father's index 6 out of 10. Still recommend it. Thank you for watching my The Answer is 42 video review, and if you have enjoyed it at least a bit, please don't forget about thumb up for the video and subscribing to my VideoGaming Father's channel. See you!